But tell me, so what it is like to study in Paris?
So it's really great. So I really love it. It was really difficult to find an accommodation. So that's if I had one downside to Paris, it's this one. But apart from that, everything is good. Especially right now with the COVID situation, if you have what they call the pass sanitaire, so if you're vaccinated, you can do basically anything we did before COVID. So it's really, really nice.
So tell me, so what it is like to study to study for an MIM at ESCP?
Well, I mean, it's really nice because to speak personally about a little bit about my previous experience, I did a BBA at ESADE, so Bachelor in Business Administration, and my biggest fear I had before doing the MIM and that I talked with Uber about was, am I not going to repeat the classes I had in my BBA? And Hubert really reassured me and say, no, you're not going to repeat them. You're going to you're going to put concrete on that. It's going to be more precise. You're going to specialize a little bit. And so, well, as we were told, I started only 2 weeks ago, but so far, so good. And it's really not the same as the study I did. Obviously, the basic courses are the same, but you go much more into details and into specialization.
Well, that's the thing. So tell me, what are the classes that you're going to follow?
Well, I mean, so at ESCP, we're going to speak a little, so basically it's a little bit different than all the different business schools. So the first semester, it's basically a core courses with classes, finance, accounting, strategy, marketing. And then you can decide to specialize as of the second semester. So right now I'm following classes, well, I mean, I wouldn't say core classes such as finance, marketing, etc. And then the second semester, you have the choice into specializing in finance, in consulting, in marketing and strategy, anything. Basically, there's many business analytics as well. There's many options. And right now I'm in the process of choosing them.
And so which one do you want to choose? You have an idea? Yeah. So you will specialize in the second semester. Yeah. That's what you do. Yeah.
Well, basically my first choice was specialize in consulting, and the second one maybe in strategy or in finance. I'm not so sure about the second one yet, but the first one would definitely be in consulting, because that's what I want to do later.
So I see that you have a Parisian flat. So what was the issue with finding a flat? So tell me, what was the issue?
No, I mean, it wasn't an issue. It's that landlord in Paris are really demanding. You need to provide a lot of documents. But apart from that, and there's many demand. Not that much offer, but don't worry, guys. If you take that in advance and if you anticipate a little bit, you will find a perfect flat.
So tell me, so Nathan, so basically, if you tell us about your history, I will ask you to introduce yourself later on. Is that, so you have decided to take a year off, basically after the BBA at ESADE, before applying for an MIM. So why have you decided to take a year off? Because you wanted to gain experience, you wanted to come back to Belgium, see your family for some time. So what was the...
Well, I would say for two reasons. The first one was, as you told, I finished my bachelor and I didn't want to start directly on a master. I wanted to have a little bit more professional experience. I got a super opportunity to work in Brussels at a great company. So I decided to pursue that way for a year. And the second reason that motivated my choice was that it was COVID, and we were really last year in the harsh COVID. So I didn't want to take my class remote. But now I'm really happy because at ESCP, and I believe as well in many other business schools, all the classes are right now in presential and not online. So that are the two reasons.
Okay. And so why ESCP? So why Master in Management? Why, I remember that when we were working together, you wanted Master in Management. Why haven't you? Why an MIM versus an MIF or another type of program?
Well, I would say because what I really want to specialize in. So Right now, I'm pretty decided about my specialization, but I don't know if you remember when we first our classes, I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do later on after my master. So the MIM is a good option to be really diverse and to get a lot of insight about really different business topics, and then later on to make your choice. If you do a master in finance, I mean, if you're passionate with finance, then I would say go for it. But if, for instance, you're not sure about what you want to do later, then the MIM is probably the best option. But that's only my opinion. And
basically, because you're not completely decided. Huh? If even after 1 year as Chemitex, you still don't know, because from what I understand, you want to be a consultant in change management. Basically, that's what you have worked on for Chemitex for 1 year. Yeah, that's basically what you want to do. So tell me, you know that my son studied at ESCP as well, but I've never visited the school because every time I said maybe I should go see you, he said no, he was not very interested. So what is it like to study Boulevard de la République in Paris?
So basically, I study in two locations, but both are in Paris. So there's one at the République, so which is really in the center of Paris, and then
The historical building of ESCP.
And then they opened another campus, still in Paris, still in central Paris, but in Montparnasse. So a little bit on the left side of the center, but I mean, it's still in Paris. And the campuses, both of them are really nice. And also one point that really motivated my mind into going to ESCP is that the campuses were in Paris, both of them. You wouldn't have to take the subway for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to go to school, and then 1 hour and a half to go back home. They have both amazing campuses with really, really great facilities. They have libraries, they have a gym there. They even have restaurants there. So it's really, really nice. The classes, the classrooms are modern, and it's really, I was positively impressed by how the facilities are at ESCP.
So that's the thing. And the professors, how do you feel? You like professors? How do you feel?
Yeah, no, it's really nice. So for really, I only had really good impressions and about the professors. You know, I've studied in Spain for 4 years beforehand, and sometimes we had amazing professors, but sometimes we had professors that were used to teach in Spanish, and it was their first class in English. So sometimes they didn't get all the learning materials and the teaching method really appropriate for English classes. Here we are really lucky at ESCP. I mean, I didn't meet all the professors yet, but so far I've really had some amazing professors that are really dedicated and into transmitting their learning. And so far, really so good
to their students. Okay, so that's something that you really enjoy. And have you already planned where you will have your two? So basically, can you explain to the students how ESCP works, because it's very different from the other schools. How does it work exactly?
Okay, so basically, think of it, it's a master program in 2 years, and think of it as 4 semesters that are 4 blocks, completely separate each another. As I told you, the first block is core courses, and then you choose a specialization for the second semester of the first year and for the second year. And basically, every semester you have the opportunity to go to one other ESCP campuses. So they have campuses in Paris, in London, in Berlin, in Madrid, I believe in Turin, in Torino, in Turin, and I think in Warsaw as well, in Poland. So basically, the choice. So basically, your specialization choice will influence the location you will be. For instance, I know that from my point of view, so I want to do consulting, and most of the classes are in Paris or in London. So basically, I will have depending on one class is in London, one class is in Paris. So I will have to make a decision on where I want to go. But for instance, I know that people, if you want to go to Berlin, I know they're really strong on everything that is big data related or business analytics related. So right now, I didn't decide it yet, but I would love to stay in Paris for a second semester, or maybe go to London or Madrid. But that's completely.
So you don't know yet, okay?
No, not yet.
So Nathan, Maybe I'm going to ask students if they have a question. So Carolina, she's from Peru, so she's working with our partner. I guess that you work with us, with GMAT Jude, and you're a student at GMAT Jude, Carolina? Yeah? Hello? I cannot hear you, Carolina. You're on mute, Carolina. Carolina?
Yes.
Yeah. So are you a student with our partner, with GMAT Jude? You work with Mariano, huh? Mariano Aguilar. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your question to Nathan?
I'd like to know.
Yeah. I guess that you want to study at ESCP. So what is your question to Nathan? Go ahead. Hello?
Excuse me?
So what is the question that you'd like to ask him?
I would like to know how hard it was for you to score your GMAT score, to reach your GMAT score.
Okay. It's a funny story with ESCP. So that's the good news.
So so basically at ESCP, so when I met Uber the first time, I was in the middle of my job and I didn't have much time to study the GMAT because I was working in parallel of it. So we did the training of GMAT and we did some tests with Uber. Personally, I was, Uber, correct me if I'm wrong, I was not that good with mathematics, but I was good with the English and we worked a lot with English. But as I was working in the meantime, we didn't have much time to improve it a little bit. So you were to find me the solution. So basically at ESCP, depending on the location you are right now, you may pass the GMAT or they have their own admission test. I mean, it's to be frank with you, it's a little bit easier than the GMAT. Yet you still need to prepare it. We prepared it with Uber but you may have with ESCP the option on not passing the GMAT, but that is depending on your previous studies. I think it depends on your previous studies and the campuses you are applying for. So me, I was in Spain at the moment I applied for, and so my admission went through the Madrid campus process. So I had to go to Madrid. Well, it was online, but and pass their own admission test.
So exactly. So basically, you coming from Peru, you will depend on the Madrid campus, and you can take the SHL.
Which is
thank you.
ESCP test.
Okay, thank you.
So you can take the SHL, which is of course an asset. So Nathan would have passed the GMAT, but he wanted to be fast. He wanted also to be reassured, huh? So he wanted to have a fast answer. He could not wait 4 months. So he told me, if I go for it, I want to make sure that I will get. So it was a good solution. Voilà. So where's a question for us? So Thomas, you have a question for Nathan? Thomas? Because you got accepted to ESCP, I believe. You're at ESSEC Singapore now, huh? But you got.
Hello,
so what is the question that you have? Hello, Thomas. I'm glad to see you. I've not seen you for almost 1 year. So what is the question that you have for Nathan, Thomas?
Hello, Nathan. Thank you for being here today. And yes, I would like to know what makes special ESCP for you, and why did you choose it among the others business school?
Well, I mean, hi Thomas. I mean, so the first, there are 2 things that makes ESCP special for me. The first thing is the people you meet there, because it's really people from many different nationalities, and that is not always the case in France. I mean, obviously there are some universities where they have a lot of international students, but at ESCP, given the fact that you can travel to all around campuses every semester, I felt it special, and I felt it. I was not maybe ready to start already settling and have a cat and not moving from my own. I still want to move from places to places to meet different different personalities, different cultures. So I believe ESCP really had this opportunity. And the second reason is that ESCP, if you go and take a look at the ranking of the Financial Times, it's a highly ranked university in Europe. I think it's in the top 10 of the master in management. So that was really something that motivated me as well.
Yeah, you got it. Huh? So that's the ranking and the international perspective. Because maybe Nathan, you can introduce yourself because I want to go to the point directly. Even though he has a French accent like me, he's not French. So can you tell us, Nathan?
I'm Belgian. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm French speaking, but I'm Belgian.
Okay.
So
You're
basically,
Bruxellois. It's Bruxellois. It's not Wallon. It's Bruxellois.
I'm from Brussels then.
Yeah.
And so basically, so I was, as Hubert told, I was born and raised in Brussels, Belgium. And then when I was 18, I decided to undertake a Bachelor of Business Administration in Barcelona at SAD Business School. Sorry. So it was I spent like an amazing 4 years there in Barcelona. I met some amazing people. And then afterwards, after my bachelor, I moved back to Brussels. Well, a little bit forced due to COVID, but I worked for a year and a half. And then now I'm starting, as I told, now I'm in Paris for the Master in Management. And so right now I'm based in Paris, but probably afterwards I'll be moving into Madrid, London.
You don't know where. You don't know where. Somewhere in Europe, huh? Somewhere in Europe, probably in the UK to start with, maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
Basically, Nathan is very
I'll
international. Okay, and he had fortunately, when you say with ZAD, he had many internship. You also created a company. You told me she's an entrepreneur. So I see. By the way, probably at some stage you'll be an entrepreneur. Your father is an entrepreneur. Okay, so probably at some stage you'll be an entrepreneur. And of course, we have many common friends because Belgium, Brussels is very small. We are in contact with Frederic, who got accepted to HEC. So basically, and we know Nathan, Nathan Esten probably. So we have many common connections from lots of reasons. Sebastian Jäger, I guess you're German or you must be Swiss. What is the question that you have for us, Sebastian?
If you had to retake the process of your application, what would you do differently? Basic question, but I think it's important. Thanks.
No, it is. It definitely is. All right. If I had to do something earlier, but that's definitely on me, is maybe I would have applied earlier, to keep my option span open. So when I contacted Uber, I think it was mid-April, something like that.
Yeah.
In March. So definitely, and you guys in September, you're completely right to already think about it right now, because me, at the really beginning, I didn't want to do a master, but then I saw with the COVID crisis that a lot of companies are demanding now, are asking for a master degree. So it wasn't my first option at the beginning, but then definitely, if I had one advice to give you, but I can see that you're already doing it, is that you guys need to be careful with the deadlines and start really applying early, so that first of all, you can be in the first rounds, which is always a little bit easier as there is not a lot of, there is competition, but there's less candidates. So apply early, and so that keep your option span wide. Does that answer your question, Sebastian?
Yeah,
Sebastian, Sebastian, it's true that that Nathan arrived a bit late. Okay, and so basically, yes, I would suggest that if you, for instance, a senior year student, you start right away, and so that you start to send your application by January. And the problem is that it's not that, of course, you have to apply early for sure, but also the process can take longer than you believe. So we can say we start now to be ready for January, and we may be ready in February. Thomas, by the way, with an ESSEC student, we'll tell you we started, and Thomas, remember, in September, and we ended when? In May, Thomas? How long did it take?
Yes, I got my last GMAT score, the good one, on the 30th April.
30th of April, and it took us a lot of time to get. You got what, the 650, from what I remember, 650.
And I started like almost right now 1 year ago.
So almost now, but yeah, I can imagine it took us. It's not a very good advertising for me. It took us 9 months to get a 650. Shows how bad I am as a GMAT teacher. Okay.
No.
By the way, can you give us some update, Thomas? Because are you already in Singapore or you're in Certes-Pontoise?
Yes, I'm currently in Singapore in quarantine.
Okay.
I'm doing my quarantine, and
Okay,
I will end it in 1 week. And the start of the courses are next week.
But it's a
So next-
fantastic place to be Singapore. So I know that you're giving
yeah.
a seminar soon. It's a fantastic place. No, you love Singapore. It's great.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
my dream, yes.
Great food. The weather is going to be incredible. You see, Nathan is going to be remain white, real Parisian teint. Okay, and you're going to be, of course, outside in Singapore. Okay, going to be studying a lot, staying inside. You know, partying as well. So you're going to have, of course, it's a different type of life. Yes, Sebastian, so you have to start early. You see, Sebastian, we even have students who will graduate in 2023. We're already starting their GMAT class because they want to be sure that he will work. There's someone else that I don't know. Ari, what is the question that you have for Nathan, Ari?
I would have a question regarding the master program. So, so is it, for example, if you do a specialized master in ESCP, is it as good as the? I mean, is it there is like a big gap between the master in management and the specialized master in ESCP for the reconnection of the program?
I mean, the problem with the specialized master, I mean, it's not a problem, but the thing about specialized master is that it is not ranked. I'm pretty sure that there are some amazing specialized master. I applied to one as well. But the thing is, it's not, as it is not ranked in the global rankings and international rankings, some companies might not, well, I mean, they recognize it, but they might not value it as much as a program that is ranked on the Financial Times, etc. Obviously, if you want to work for a company in France, a medium or not an international company in France, or a really specialized company, they're gonna value your specialized master. But if you want to work for big companies, they might say, okay, if you're really good, you might get the job. But if, for instance, there is someone next to you that had basically the same profile as you but did the master in management, even if you may have an even better knowledge, they might choose him because they know the program they did.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not criticizing the specialized master. I even applied for one. There are some really, really, really good specialized master in ESCP as well.
Okay, so basically that here that I have to explain to you the difference. You have to see that in France, the MIM is what we call the Grande École program. So that's the elite program. Okay, so basically at ESCP, I would say that they have two elite programs. One is the Grande École program that Nathan is following, okay? And they also have a very good one, which is the Master in Finance, the MIF, okay? You see that the other ones are less regarded and less considered than the others. So I would always suggest when you apply in France, apply for the 2-year master, the MIM, because it is the Grande École, so it is the elite program of the school, okay? And if
Are
you're
we
not
on the
part of
same?
yeah.
So yeah, are we on the same program than the people who did the prepa, for example, in France, or it's a different program?
It's exactly the same.
The same program.
The same
the
one?
same program. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you will get the same MIM. Yeah, you will get the same program. So it's very important. Where are you studying, you Ari? You're from AI? You're an AI student? Okay.
Yes.
So you see, Nathan was at ESADE, so it's the competitor, the enemy from Barcelona, but it's something. And of course, the advantage is the GMAT. You see? So you see, Carolina, maybe it's something very French, but we have the elite program, which is the MIM, and the specialized masters were created after that, and they're not so elite, except for the Master in Finance that is now very well regarded. Another question, so I don't know, so I know some of you. For instance, Santino. By the way, where are you from, Santino? I guess that you're from a Spanish-speaking country. Santino?
No, I'm actually from the Philippines.
Okay.
So yeah, kind
Are
of.
you from the Philippines? Okay, because Gabriel Campos. So okay. So Santino, what questions have you got for us, Santino?
No, actually, nothing in particular. I was actually going to ask a question on rankings, but then yeah, Nathan answered it. So I'll just here to, I guess,
I think
listen.
I think there's 6 or 7. There was a brand new ranking.
It's top 10. They're in the top 10.
I
it's a
think
top
there's
10.
like 6 or 7, something like that.
You think, Santino? So there are 6 or 7 in the world. Okay, there are 6 or 7 in the world. It's a top 10.
In the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even in Europe. I believe I said Europe.
It's even better.
World.
So basically, the big advantage of ESCP, it's a well-ranked school, and it's the multi-campus. Okay, so if you want to if you want to, yeah, that's the big advantage. And also have students who went to the ESCP BBA, okay, BSc in business, so it's a BSc, and of course I have one, for instance, Sarah from Taras is from Leuven. But of course, he told me that it was great because year one was in London, year two was in Torino, and year three was in Paris. So, of course, when you apply with such a background to MIMs or MIF, it's a big plus. When you apply for jobs as well, same thing for you. I can imagine that time when you compare your life compared to your friends who stayed in Brussels to study at ULB, but in terms of personal development, you'll have spent what, 3 years in Spain, 3 or 4 years in Spain, or 3 years in Spain. You'll have spent what, 1 year in France, probably 1 year where Germany or UK.
I went in Norway as well. I did 6 months in Norway.
So in Norway. So you can imagine in terms of personal development. And of course, when a company receives they know that the guy is adaptable, is international, is mobile, is autonomous. It tells a lot at the same time. Okay. You have another question, Santino? Maybe about the financing. We did not mention financing, so I don't know how it works for you, Nathan, but the financing, but it's an issue for some students. Me, for instance, I had a student from last year. He was from Colombia, and he had been accepted to ESCP EM Lyon, and it's a 1-year program at EM Lyon. He got the Master in Finance and AI, okay, and he took EM Lyon because he could not afford. So how did you manage for financing? Are you going to work, do a personal loan, family support? How will you manage? So how do people manage in general?
Obviously, definitely it's expensive as it is a 2-year program. So I believe it's around 18,000 euro per year, something like that. No, but it's really, but they offered also some scholarships opportunity. And as well, so I don't know how it works in outside Europe, but here in Europe, it was the same in Spain. Some banks are partner with ESCP, and they offer student loans with no interest rate. And something that is really good, is that you start repaying your student loans as soon as you work and get to a certain salary level. So me personally, without going into too much details, I saved up some money to pay for my first year, and then I'm gonna take a loan for the second year. So
in Belgium they pay well. That's
right. Yeah, I mean I got also a little help from my parents, but yeah, I managed to save a lot of.
Managed to do that. Okay. So basically, Santiago, you have another question. Santiago, you raise your hand. So what is your question, Santiago?
Yeah. So you mentioned ESCP having campuses everywhere, everywhere in Europe. I think Germany, I think Italy from the last time I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So given that, what are the challenges, say, in finding a job in these countries, like as opposed to France? Does the brand name of ESCP like ring well also in these countries? Will one have to learn the language quickly, like to say learn German in Germany to easily get oneself inserted there?
I mean, I'm not specialized into the German nor Italian job market, but the only thing I can say is that the advantage of ESCP is that you can choose the diploma you get. So, for instance, you will work in Germany. Well, you can get the German diploma, as it is a program that goes. I mean, obviously, you would have to go to Germany, but you can get the equivalence of the German diploma. So that's definitely a plus. You have the options to learn languages, so that is definitely a plus as well. Now, the specifics of the German or Italian or Swedish job market, I have no idea how it works. But sure, but I mean, you guys can follow me on LinkedIn, and then if you have any question or in the time, I can answer you later on. But right now, I have really no idea how it works.
So yes, so basically in terms of job market, well, as you know, the most dynamic job market in Europe, as you know, is Germany. Okay, so if you compare the school where ESCP, so Germany is the most dynamic job market. Poland is good, but of course I don't see a Western European living. It can be fun to spend time in Poland, but living and working there because salaries are lower. Now Portuguese girls are pretty, so sorry to say that. But, so it can be an advantage, and I know that that knowing Nathan, it's a type of advantage that he would be ready to consider. So basically, yes. So now Italy and Spain, the job market in Italy, it's recovering well, okay, but of course it's not the German job market. Same thing for Spain, but Spain has a lot to offer in consulting. France, well, but it's between. It's not as good as Germany. It's probably better than Spain. But even though I see now that Spain is really, especially Madrid, is doing extremely well economically. They have a great mayor with pro-business. And UK, of course, the UK job market is very dynamic. And as you know, Santino, studying in the UK, so you get a UK degree, and in the UK you can have a visa for 2 years. So of course, it's not an issue for Nathan, it's Belgium, but for you it can be an issue. The idea would be to finish in London and get a UK degree, because you get a visa for 2 years. And if you get a visa for 2 years, you're almost sure to get a job after these 2 years. Okay, so Nathan, there are people. I see some people ask a question. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. It was very nice to talk to you, Nathan. So basically, so talk to you, Thomas. So the piece of recommendation that you give, Nathan, what piece of recommendation would you give?
But I mean, as I told you guys before, do not neglect the timing. So take really anticipation in your choice. Honestly speaking, apply to, I mean, do not be afraid of applying to a lot of university. I know it takes time. It's a long process. Sometimes it can be expensive paying €100 for this university, €100. But I mean, keep your option large. Really take time applying to it, and obviously for application I have no more advice, but if I can help you in any way in the future, really do not hesitate to ask Uber for my contact information, or add me on LinkedIn, and really I would be glad to help you guys.
Yes, and maybe are you going to be have you asked to be like a student ambassador, or did you ask? No.
For the moment, we didn't have the possibility to ask, but maybe in the future I could be, depending on my work schedule, and if I want to have a job in Paris as well in the future. I don't know yet.
You can be student ambassador. You see, Nathan, during the class. During your studies, you can be a student ambassador.
Yeah,
so you show around, but it's a way to network at the same time. Okay, I have students who are student ambassadors. Sometimes some have to be, when you get a scholarship, for instance, you have to be student ambassador. So, but Nathan, it was very nice to talk to you as usual. Okay, but I wish you have to have a fantastic year in Paris. Paris is a great place to be, especially now that there's no confinement. And I wanted to thank you again for being with us, Nathan. It's always very nice to get your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uber, and thank you guys. And as always, I saw Uber post the link, so if you have any question, really do not hesitate to contact me.
Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.